Hey y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Today we're going to be talking about the Grade 3 Holy Bull Stakes at Gulfstream on Saturday. It's a mile and a 16th and it's a Derby prep for 3-year-olds. It's a more diverse field than the Bob Lewis at Santa Anita, so we have much more to talk about, more evaluation to be had. So without further ado, let's take a look. Okay, the Holy Bull is a Grade 3 for 3-year-olds at Gulfstream at a mile and a 16th. The most important thing to first take a note of is the configuration. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, a mile and a 16th starts basically on a turn. So any horse on the outside is going to be severely compromised, and it's going to be difficult for them to get to where they want to. So that's really important to note when you're looking at these horses as you evaluate them by post position. The more inside they are, the better chance they're going to have to run the kind of race that they want to. So please keep that in mind. Lord Miles is by Curlin and Majestic Warrior underneath. The 2 turns should not be an issue for this one. He's by Safi Joseph and he's got a Rat Ortiz, and they win at a 27% clip together. The last race he closed into a speed favoring track and had a pretty good third. That's always a good sign when you stretch out and see them wanting more ground like that. So 2 turns should be what this horse wants. There's really no, he's training well, and Safi's putting blinkers on him, so you expect him a little more forwardly placed, and I think that should definitely be the ticket for this one. He's a win candidate for me. There are other runners in here that have demonstrated a little more speed, but I think this one is a good candidate. West Coast Cowboy is by Safi as well, and he does have Edgard Zayas as a rider on him. He's shown some improvement, kind of light on the buyers to win at first asking and in his next effort as well, but he is showing improvement and he's had some time off, and he's a May 3-year-old, and as we've noted previously, May 3-year-olds, if they show any ability to run early on as things progress, that can be a good thing because they're still growing, and so they can pop when you least expect it. This might be a case here. We don't know. He's had plenty of time, and I want a price. I haven't seen enough to get real excited about him, but I think he could factor, and definitely want to see a good price, and I also want to see a decent post position. Same thing with Shadow Dragon for the most part. He's trained by Bill Mott, got Jose Ortiz on him, and the most important thing to note right away is that they win at 46% together at 466 ROI, which is pretty awesome. He's owned by Peachtree Stable, usually puts out a pretty good product, and they don't put horses on the Derby trail lightly. So there's some good things to like. Army Mule is kind of unproven right now. He's 4% with 3-year-olds, which is not good, but he's 2 for 10 with roots. So we're not sure if this one is a bona fide A-sire yet, but he has had some success. He's got Medaglia d'Oro underneath, so there's some class there and some 2 turn. You can see the big thing for me is the fact that the first 2 efforts were against state breds in New York. Nothing against New York breds, but that's not open company. And he really didn't fire very much when stretched out at a mile, although it was 1 turn. Arctic Arrogance is pretty good and has been making some noise in New York, but that's a worry to me. He's had quite a bit of time to freshen up and work on some things, and Bill Mott is good with long layoffs. So this one could move forward, and the nice thing about it is you're probably going to get a price. So to me, he's a use because there's a lot of things to like here, and with a definite move, significant move forward, he needs to be sure. But I think that's definitely possible. Again, posted price dependent, but he's a use. Cyclone Mischief comes out with the last career best buyer. With 90, that last race, he did well to draw off in that field. Litigate and Mr. Ripple are pretty good 3-year-olds, and it was a fairly deep field, so that's a positive for sure. The thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is the Jockey Club at a mile and a 16th, he really didn't fare very well. And if you consider the fractions were as arctic as they were, 24.50 and 1:15, it's really a surprise that he couldn't hang on at the end. He did lose to Instant Coffee and Curly Jack. Haystrike isn't bad either. Instant Coffee just won the Lecomte, so maybe we can forgive a little bit there. And he did rebound with a pretty good effort, but it was a one-turn mile. When you see him, his maiden was also Arctic pace at a 24.48 and 1:14. Gives you a wonder if maybe they were tamping it down so he could hang on, maybe that he doesn't have the stamina. We'll just have to see. But I think there's a lot of things to like here. I think because of the class of the field in general, this one is a win candidate, and I would use, hopefully the price won't be too short, because I think there are some things to worry about a little bit with this one. So I think, maybe like 3-1, 7-2 is something that I'd like to see with this one, particularly if the post is on the outside. Then I definitely want even better value than that. But Cyclone Mischief, win candidate, easy use. Mr. Bob really didn't do much running in his last one. I don't really see a whole lot to like here. He's by Practical Joke. They don't want 2 turns. This one, it took a maiden claimer to break his maiden, and his best effort really was in a stakes, ungraded stakes at a sprint at Churchill against Powerful and Frosted Departure, which wasn't bad. But I'm fairly certain this horse isn't going to be effective at 2 turns. He's a toss. Legacy Isle will definitely be the speed of this race. As you can see, likes to get on the front end and just hang on. They loose reins all the way. Look at those fractions. Every single race has been the same. 22.45, 110. 22.45, 110. 22.45, 111. They basically, that is a suicide pace for 2 turns, and he would be very hard pressed to win this race if he continues to run that way. If he is on the outside, that's even worse for the situation here. You can see as the distances are getting longer, the margin of victory is decreasing, with the class getting better as well. That's not a very good sign. This one could still hang on for 30. He's certainly tough. And that last one, I don't know how he was able to stay on top, because he was just exhausted in the stretch, but it was speed favoring. Maybe that had something to do with it. Any event, if you like him, use him underneath. Chances are, if the post is outside, I'm going to toss him. I just can't see a horse running at that speed level making any impact here. Not late anyway. Il Miracolo is by Gunrunner with Tap It Underneath, so what does that say? 2 turns all the way. Here's the problem. When you're by Gunrunner, you love the mud as well. They're notorious for really liking it wet. And what happened in the Remsen? He didn't do any running at all. It took him 4 bites to break his maiden, and the Mucho Macho Man, he was up the track as well. So you really can't like his chances here for those reasons. Class-wise, he's a toss. Rocket Can is another one by Bill Mott. He's got Junior Alvarado on him, his A rider. He's got Into Mischief on top and Tap It on the bottom. So 2 turns should be something he likes. You can see a progression. He's getting better in every race. In the last one in particular, at a mile and a 16th, he gave a nice second to Confidence Game, who just had a 3rd in the Lecomte. So that's a pretty good sign. Again, he's coming off a long layoff. And Bill Mott is good in that instance. Again, I'd like to see a race under him before he gets into his stakes, but I think there's a lot of good things to like here, and I think this should fit him very well. So I'm going to use Rocket Can for those reasons. I'm tossing Il Miracolo, Legacy Isle, Mr. Bob. Cyclone Mischief is a tepid win candidate. There's a couple of things that bother me a little bit. I need a price for Shadow Dragon as well as West Coast Cowboy. They need to. There's some potential to move forward, but I need a price in order to invest in it. And finally, Lord Miles. It looks like everything is pointed towards a solid effort here. He's a win candidate for me. And with the blinkers on, I think he'll be up closer to the lead, which should give him a good position run late and take this one. So he is a definite win candidate for me. So that's the way I see the Holy Bull. This will all be post position dependent as well as price, but it's a fairly wide open running, and I think there's a lot of different ways to go here. And I'll wish you the best of luck on Saturday. And of course, as always, please like and subscribe. It does help us to bring content to you. And be well. I'll talk to you soon about the withers in the next day or so.